Hi guys, welcome back to What's the Matter. Liam again this week on Monday, because Tuesday was last week. We'll get on that in a second. I'm joined this week by Andy, a fellow Man United fan. Never mind the Liverpool dickhead from last week. A few things to get through. First and foremost, I want to kind of address what I said last week about my disappointment with the Liverpool game. I want to make it clear that a point away to Anfield, which I'm sure you agree with me, is a good result, no matter what way you look at it. What I was disappointed in was the way that we approached it. We played for a point. Now, obviously, that's going to tie in with the Chelsea match from yesterday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I wasn't the only one from last week. I think it was pretty much split down the middle. I mean, 50-50 in that who was happy the way we played and who think that Mourinho was a tactical genius. Do those people now still think Mourinho's a tactical genius after playing effectively the same team with maybe even Lingard thrown in there from yesterday to what the result was yesterday as opposed to what it was against Liverpool? And what about yourself? Do you think so, Andy?
Yeah. Monday's game against Liverpool, I thought it was a positive result in the end. I think it was a good point. Mourinho, we could have won it. If Ibra had stuck that header away, it was a completely different outlook on the game then. But overall, I was quite positive about it. Although 3 points would have been a lot better, and a better performance.
I mean, of course, 3 points would be brilliant. As I said before, away to Liverpool, before the game, you'd say a point is a good result, no problem. But were you not disappointed in the way he set up? Because he played for a 0-0 draw, didn't he?
We're Man United. We shouldn't be going for anything less than a win. We shouldn't be going set up for a draw. Disappointed, I suppose, in that approach to the game. But when you look back on it and see our performance, happy with the draw. Then
I suppose I'd be tended to agree with you there. I know a lot of other people, especially if you look at the comments from last week's show, I get absolutely tore to pieces. But again, it's a matter of opinion. I suppose that brings me on to from last week to Fenerbahce midweek. I mean, how can you go from a boring 0-0 draw with Liverpool straight into Fenerbahce and win 4-1? My personal take on it is he played the attacking-minded players that I wanted to see against Liverpool. The likes of Michael Carrick, who came in. Rooney came in. I don't think he had the best of games, in my opinion. I know he's been slated. Who else was in there? Jesse Lingard. And I've slated Jesse Lingard over the past few weeks, but I did think he had a good game, scored a decent goal. What about yourself?
Yeah, it looked a completely different. Well, it was a completely different team, but just again, approached it, the setup, what we had, it was very, very positive. And it was exciting to see. It made me very optimistic about the Chelsea game then, seeing the way we played and the freedom that Pogba played with.
I agree. Pogba's a great one to pick up on, actually, because without having Fellaini in there and putting in Michael Carrick, who, alright, he's not the best defender in the world, but it's freed up Pogba so much.
Yeah, I agree. I can't understand why Carrick didn't play yesterday, or why he hasn't had a lot of game time so far this season. I'm a huge Carrick fan, and I think he makes us tick. He's our quarterback. You give the ball to him, and you know he's going to start an attack.
Look how much freedom Pogba had, not having to almost worry about him, worry about Fellaini the way he has done beforehand. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but you can kind of see what I mean in that he's a bit more freedom on the ball going forward. Whereas with Fellaini, I mean, Giggs came out midweek and said that Fellaini was a panic buy by Moyes.
Yeah, I read that today.
And Mourinho's still playing him. I don't know. Everyone knows my opinions on Fellaini. I don't even think he should be in the stadium, never mind in the matchday squad.
I agree 100%.
He brings us down so much, and to play him yesterday. And I think one of the reasons we lost yesterday isn't because Mourinho set up for another 0-0 draw, which he did do, bringing Fellaini back in and playing with the narrow wing backs, for want of a better phrase, in Lingard and in Rashford, effectively what he tried to do against Liverpool. But it was the fact that we went 1-0 down after 30 seconds and his whole game plan's out the window. Surely at that point you should be screaming, bring Fellaini off and bring Matt on.
Yeah, because the game's different. Everything's changed. Fellaini, I'm not a big fan either. His main strength is his height, his aerial ability, but he's not even effective at it. I don't see it at all. He doesn't bring goals to his game. He's not the group. We're already got tall. Like Michael Carrick's quite tall. He can do that job defensively at corners and set pieces. Not a big Fellaini fan, and as I say, if we play him, it's already a negative.
Exactly. If you play him, it's already negative football, which is back to what I was talking about last week after the Liverpool game. It's set up so negatively for another boring 0-0 draw. How can we go and thrash Fenerbahce? All right, for albeit they're nowhere near the calibre of Liverpool or Chelsea, but you still think, back to what you said before, for Man United, surely we should be playing positive attacking football. What are we scared of Liverpool and Chelsea for? And ultimately yesterday we could find out, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. It was a disappointment, embarrassing.
I think embarrassing.
Just the mistakes were embarrassing.
Exactly, yes. I can see where you're coming from. It was two really almost amateur mistakes. I mean, Chris Smalling for the second goal. What is this? Jumping out of the way. What's that? Come on. You're England centre half. Yeah. And now with Bailey, whatever way you want to pronounce it, he's injured now with looks like knee ligament damage. So he's going to be out for a while. So he's going to have to play Luke Shaw at fullback, and Chris Smalling's going to play every game, isn't he? He's going to have to do that and play Blind in the centre. Because what's the alternative?
Shaw needs to start. I'm a big Shaw fan.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I can't believe he didn't start against Chelsea after playing. I thought he had a good game against Fenerbahce as well.
Yeah, I agree.
This isn't how come he can bring all those players in. I mean, they're not what I would consider to be second string players.
No,
to play against Fenerbahce, and he doesn't. I mean, they obviously proved themselves. They won 4-1, and they can't play against Chelsea.
Going to be disappointed themselves. Yeah. Shaw didn't even make the squad, did he, for the Chelsea game? Like so.
I know, mad. So moving on to what we think is going to happen against City.
Well, hopefully a win. I think he'll probably go for the Fenerbahce team. I hope he does the same sort of setup. I think because midweek game, he's going to have to rotate.
Yeah.
Rest Zlatan. He's going to have dips, and he seems to at the minute when he's in front of goal, he's lost from what he started off with. He hasn't been finding that touch. He was unlucky yesterday, I suppose, with a couple of chances. But yeah, hopefully rest Zlatan.
I think I'm tending to agree with you. I mean, let us know what you think as well. I think it's all about team selection. I don't mean our team selection, I mean City's team selection. Is Pep going to play a full strength squad? And if that's the case, should he be playing Zlatan and whatnot? Personally, I'm with you on this. I think he should rotate them around. Ultimately, it's a competition that Mourinho doesn't want to play. But just on that, actually, before the game against Chelsea yesterday, Mourinho was asked about his former players. I don't know if any of you saw this, and he said, having known the former players, the question was, having known the former players, would you find it to be almost a positive, like an advantage, knowing what way they want to play and whatnot? And Mourinho, this is a direct quote, "I don't want to have my players concentrate too much on the opposition. It will distract their focus from their own game plan that we try to start." But surely, against Liverpool and against Chelsea, he set up to stifle the opposition. He set up to play the opposition as opposed to play his own game. So that really baffled me a little bit when he said that. And that's before the game. And then, so the question would be, is he going to do the same against City?
I hope not. He should. We'll know City. We don't know their starting lineup, but they're very familiar with the team.
Yeah.
I reckon, as you say, it's a competition. He's not. If he wins it, he wins it. If he gets knocked out, he's not fussed. So he'll just I hope he lets them express themselves.
Yeah.
And not too worry about.
Again, I'm with you on this. I'd like to see some of that. I'd like to see Depay maybe play and have a little bit of confidence back instilled in his game.
I would love him to be a success. It just so far just hasn't happened for him yet.
No, I agree. Again, let us know what you think at home. Personally, I was full of praise for the kid last year. I just thought he didn't really get a proper run in the team because Van Gaal didn't like him for whatever reason. Pardon me. But then you see him play since then, and he hasn't really turned it on, has he?
It's kind of nearly coincided with Shaw's broken leg. Yeah. The two of them had struck up quite a good relationship, I thought. And then as soon as Shaw went out injured, it seemed to me that Memphis's game kind of suffered as well, and he hasn't recovered since.
Maybe there would be an argument there for a game that, like you said before, it's not really something that Mourinho's really bothered about winning. Should he play there? I think Lingard had a screaming game the other night. I know I'm not his biggest fan, but I think Lingard should play as well. Maybe, like you say, rest a couple of the big names, and the likes of Zlatan and Rashford. And Rashford's a big name now, that's mad, isn't he?
It's brilliant.
And I don't even know anyone else in defence could come in. What's the story with Phil Jones? No one even knows. He's kind of fallen off the planet.
He's just run of injuries as well. But I don't think he's good enough at the minute. Not to start, definitely. Rojo will probably start.
He's such another terrible player. In my opinion.
I'm not as big fan of his either. He hasn't.
I don't think he's got a position. Is he a fullback? Is he centre half? No one really knows. I think Mourinho's played him the way I would have played him, to be honest, just coming off the bench. I think it was a bit strange bringing him off the bench against Chelsea yesterday. Yeah. I thought you would have a more attack-minded player coming off the bench, but either way, it's Mourinho. But I just don't think he's good enough to play.
No, I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of his either.
I think it should be a case of playing tomorrow or playing on Wednesday against City, though.
Hopefully, Fosu Mensah gets a game. I'm a really big fan of him, so bring him in, give him some extra game time.
And if he gets a chance, surely they should. surely they should be allowed to keep their place in the team.
Yeah.
What's the point in bringing these players in, like the likes of Fenerbahce last week and probably against City on Wednesday, and they perform? Oh, that's falling apart there. And they perform, but they don't get back in the team the next week.
That's it. We've got Burnley coming up after them. No offence to Burnley, but
they've got a couple of big scalps with Burnley. I mean, they beat Everton at the weekend and they beat Liverpool.
Yeah, true, exactly. So, yeah, it's not going to be a walkover or anything like that. It's not guaranteed 3 points, but you'd like to think it should be a good game for us to kind of get ourselves rolling again, picking up points.
So, score prediction?
For Burnley?
No, for
Man
City.
I'll go for a win. 2-0, clean
2-0.
sheet. I'll take a clean sheet against them, a bit of revenge.
I'm going to say 3-1. 3-1 United. I think Pep hopefully will have the same kind of mentality as Mourinho and play as maybe not necessarily what you would consider to be his best 11.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a good game actually, because it'll be young kids who, well, not necessarily young kids, but guys who haven't had their best run of form in the team, the starting 11, and try and make a name for themselves, and hopefully it'll be all guns blazing. Well, fingers crossed. It'll probably be 0-0 draw.
Yeah,
after me saying that about the Liverpool game last week as well, and finished 0-0 draw. Again, let us know your thoughts, and hopefully there should be a little bar coming across the bottom of your screen now to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We talked about today about Mourinho's mentality and the team selection. Let us know what your team selection would be for City, and let us know what you thought about the last week in Man United. Thanks a lot. See you later, guys.